Well, thank you for coming in today. There are just a few points I'd like to cover before we start. Everything we talk about in this room is confidential, but there are a couple limits to that confidentiality. So if you would disclose to me that you are wanting to self harm or harm someone else, if there is disclosure of abuse towards a child, an elder, or someone who is incapacitated, or if I would get court subpoenaed, I would have to break confidentiality, but it would be for the relevant information. Do you have any questions about that?
No, wouldn't say so.
Okay. Well, would you like to start with what brought you in today?
I guess I'm feeling less than what I used to, I guess. I'm always sleepy, and I feel like I'm not actually sleeping when I sleep. I have lost a lot of appetite, and I kind of have to force myself to eat a lot. On top of that, just I don't know. I feel like where it used to be sunny, it's kind of gloomy and rainy.
So I'm hearing that you feel that maybe you're not like yourself right now, that you're very tired, you have a lack of appetite, you're having to force yourself to eat, and that overall things feel maybe a little darker right now.
Yeah.
How long has that been going on for?
Uh, I guess I really only noticed it a few months ago. Um, I don't know. I feel like I used to have more pep in my step, and I had actual motivation to get up in the morning. But I find that like I'm going to sleep later and waking up later and just taking more naps, not being as productive. There's a lot of time that I feel like I've got to do a lot more self care because it's just too much effort to do anything else.
And so, when you say that you're feeling less than yourself right now, is that having to do with that you are more tired right now, that you are doing the more self care, or what does that mean for you?
Um, I think it's honestly like I feel like it's just more energy has to be expelled for me to do the things that I was doing previously that maybe didn't take as much energy. And because of that, I have to do more self care just to like hit that baseline. Um, because I feel like if I don't do self care, I'll fall below that baseline, and then that doesn't sound like a good idea, honestly.
And when you say that you're doing self care, what does that mean for you?
Um, just doing small stuff, maybe reading more books that I want to read, or even just it's okay to take a nap. Like I have to tell myself that you shouldn't feel guilty for being tired, right? Um, or even just I mean, it's not the most nutritious food, but like slight comfort food. Like instead of maybe eating Brussels sprouts with dinner, I might make a baked potato instead. It's the small things.
So it sounds like right now you're feeling a little more tired than you normally would, or that things are taking a lot more energy than they had in the past, and that you are trying to cope with that by doing things for yourself that you enjoy. And how does that make you feel when you are doing those self-care items?
Um, Makes me feel less bad about being tired, I guess. Because I feel like in the society we live in, uh, corporations want to make you feel bad for feeling less than what you should. And then because I'm realizing that I'm more tired and I'm taking more time for myself, like that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's ingrained in me that I should be productive. So then I still feel a little guilty, which is why part of my self care is telling myself it's okay to take
So I'm hearing maybe that you're feeling a little anxiety about feeling so tired lately, just because you've always had this pressure to be at a different standard than maybe you are hitting right now.
that. Almost definitely. Um, Kind of like how when you go to a professional place, you're supposed to be chipper, excited, up here, like, but I don't have that energy. So I ended up just coming in, and I mean, it's noticeable. Like, my coworkers have noticed that I have infinitely less energy, but uh, they know that it's not like malicious or anything. It's just I'm tired. I'm real tired. I don't know. I mean the anxiety part is right because I end up waking up from naps with almost panic attacks, and I think that's just me, or rather my guilt being like, no, you shouldn't be napping. You should be up.
So it seems that your coworkers have noticed that you're feeling more tired lately, that you don't have the same energy you used to have, and that, that's contributing a little bit to this anxiety that, you are trying to cope with this right now.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think is causing you to feel so much more exhausted than you had before?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure. Like, I feel like you just hit certain points in your life where things like this happen. I mean, I've been working this job for 5 years now. It's a 9 to 5, so it's not all that interesting. um, I don't really have any romantic interests, so I'm just sort of coasting. And I live by myself, so like I don't necessarily have any roommates that are forcing me to get out. Uh, it's just wear and tear, I suppose. You work so hard for so long, and then it's a slow wear and tear.
So I'm hearing that there maybe wasn't any one real cause of you becoming so much more exhausted lately, but that it might just be, kind of your life hitting this point right now where you feel a little bored.
Probably, yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I haven't even been trying new recipes. As I said, like, my appetite's been real gone lately. So, like, I used to try new things, try baking new things, and I don't even do that. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time that I baked or that I made something that I haven't made before. Most of my time now is spent just trying to get through one thing to the next.
And so with you feeling so exhausted lately and that, maybe you're not doing as many things that you used to do and that you are doing these self-coping, skills and that you're trying this self-care, in a perfect world, what do you think would you want to do next?
I don't know. I always imagine life is supposed to feel like you're on a roller coaster where you've got adrenaline pumping when you hit the high points, and then your stomach is doing flips when you're descending. But I'm not feeling a whole lot of that. It's kind of just plateaued. Uh, I imagine in a perfect world, I'd, be excited about things, looking forward to things. But I haven't really found anything that's either exciting or for something I should be looking forward to.
So not only are you exhausted, have a lack of appetite, but it sounds like you're also maybe not enjoying things as much as you might have used to.
Mm. It's real lethargic. The things that I might have found interesting or fun in the past haven't really had that inclination lately. So I used to be real active. I used to go bike riding and hiking and doing all this nature stuff. And lately, that hasn't held any merit for me.
When was the last time you had done, something outside of your house?
Outside of my house, I take it grocery shopping doesn't count.
Okay, I meant a little bit more like some fun activities besides work or grocery shopping.
Well, I feel like it's been a while, maybe like a month and a half. As of late, like the only time I really leave my house is to go to work, go grocery shopping, because I mean, I have to at least pretend like I have an appetite, right? Because there's nothing worse than not having an appetite, also not having anything in the fridge, so then you can't even like force yourself to eat. I feel like I've replaced most of my meals with tea, so it's just been a liquid diet, which probably isn't all that good for me.
If you had the energy, what would you want to make for yourself?
Maybe my grandmother's. She used to make this homemade recipe of corned beef hash with toast and sunny side up eggs. That was my favorite meal.
And do you feel like you would buy the ingredients and maybe try to make something? Okay.
That's way too much effort. Because the best part about that dish is that not only you cook it on the stove top so that it's cooked all the way through, but then you put it in the oven and let it crisp up. So it just, in theory, it sounds great, but then the moment I think about having to dice potatoes into real tiny chunks, or having to cook the corned beef and then shredding it, like that just seems way too much effort. As I said, like I'm feeling real lethargic, so anything more than me having to put a sandwich together is a little too much.
Okay. And so it seems like even things that you would really enjoy having right now, you're having a hard time putting that effort towards. And even though you're not sure when this really started or what started it, you're very um, you're feeling like you I'm sorry, I'm gonna start over. Okay, so that you are feeling so tired, you're not doing things that you might even really enjoy doing, and you know that you would enjoy doing them, but right now you just feel like you're so exhausted that you can't even put that effort towards. And when was the last time you had done something just for yourself, besides those small self-care items that you've talked about?
Um, Again, probably a month or a month and a half.
Okay.
I feel just, again, like if it's not me justifying taking a nap or maybe picking up a book that I was interested in, like I can't say that I've done anything big for myself. Like it's just hard enough trying to keep my apartment clean. Like it's not super messy, it's just I'm not doing the things that I used to do. Like I don't dust, or maybe I haven't swept the floor in a few weeks, which would be fine if I didn't have a cat.
I'm hearing that not only is this affecting you, at work and in your personal life, that you're not going out as much as you used to, but that this is also affecting, just your day to day in the house, that you're not cleaning up as much as you might have used to, and that you're not making food that you enjoy anymore.
Yeah, sounds about right. Um, I think the biggest thing that I've done is I made sweetened strawberries, but that's just putting strawberries in a jar with sugar and a little bit of water. So again, low effort.
Now, have you talked to anyone else about these feelings? Or would you feel like you'd want to talk to anyone else?
I've tried to talk to my mom about it, but that's a complicated relationship. Anytime I try and talk to her, it gets turned into, oh, well, you get that from me. And I'm like, that's not what this conversation was about. She likes to blame herself for anything that's wrong in my life. Like, I know I'm an introvert, but she says that that's because she didn't hug me enough as a child, or I have poor relationship with people because I talk down to them because that's how I talk to her. So that conversation never goes well, and I feel like most of my friendships are the I talk to you when I see you,
Mhm.
not so much I talk to you over the phone. Um, like all of my super close friends are very much we don't talk for months at a time, and then I see them, and then it's picked right up where we left off. But as you can see, that's probably not helpful in this situation.
So not only, are you not having really anyone to talk to about feeling this way, because it sounds like, your mom kind of makes you feel guilty for trying to mention it because she is going to blame herself. And then also your friends are, maybe a little bit distant from you until you do see them. And that's difficult, it sounds like, for you right now, that, you are feeling so exhausted, but you don't really have anyone to prompt you to get out of the house.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think that's it. Because when I had a roommate, she was more of the extroverted. Like, she still had a lot of anxiety, but she was definitely more extroverted than me. And she's this tiny, tiny child of a woman. So, like, a lot of times she'd be like, all right, well, I need to go for a walk. And then I would feel obligated to go with her just because she's tiny and, like, the world's not safe. Um, but I feel like she was the driving force to get me out of the house more often. And now we're not roommates, so I'm by myself. And it's like, I don't need to leave. It's like it doesn't even cross my mind that I need to leave.
With these feelings of exhaustion and that you have a lack of appetite, that you're not getting out as much as you used to, it sounds like maybe it all started when your roommate left, that you didn't really have that driving force to get you out of the house as much anymore.